Welcome in to the New Orleans Saints podcast, hosted by Erin Summers and John DeShazier. You'll hear from players, coaches, broadcasters, and writers who cover the team on a daily basis. The New Orleans Saints podcast starts right now. Here's your hosts, Erin Summers and John DeShazier.
Welcome into the New Orleans Saints podcast. I'm Erin Summers. The first 10 weeks of the season are behind us, and while it has been up and down at times, the Saints do sit in sole possession of first place in the NFC South at 5-5 on the season. With a bye week in Week 11, head coach Dennis Allen said it is a good chance for the players to get away and reset.
Look, first and foremost, I told them, I want you to get away. I want you to get some rest. I want you to work on getting your bodies and your minds back, and get ready to make this stretch run. That's really what this is. That's what this is about. We did the same thing last year, and finished off winning 3 out of our last 4. And so we've got to kind of hit the reset button just a little bit and come back from the bye and be ready to go, for this stretch run.
There have been some major milestones hit this season already. Taysom Hill recorded his 10th receiving touchdown in the Saints' win over the Chicago Bears on November 5th. That put him alongside Pro Football Hall of Famer Frank Gifford as the only 2 players in league history to record 25 rushing touchdowns, 10 touchdown passes, and 10 touchdown receptions. Cornerback Paulson Adebo was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week after a 3-takeaway performance in Week 9. Rookie kicker Blake Grupe earned NFC Special Teams Player of the Week honors after hitting 2 50-yard field goals and all 4 extra points against the Patriots in Week 5. Speaking of that game, New Orleans pitched a shutout 34-0 in Foxborough that day. And Alvin Kamara broke the New Orleans Saints touchdown record, passing receiver Marcus Colston's 72 with a rushing touchdown against the Patriots. AK grabbed his 73rd touchdown. He currently has 74 total. Defensively, the Saints are tied for first in both takeaways and interceptions this season, with 18 total takeaways and 12 INTs. This season, we've had several players join us on the New Orleans Saints podcast, and today we've put together some of our favorite moments in a best of episode. Let's start it off with safety Tyrann Mathieu. How do you like being one of the older guys on the team?
I mean, it's fun, right? But a lot of times, like they just make me feel so old, right? And I'm in the locker room, and all these young guys, and they're like, I was 9 years old when I started watching you play.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, what? I'm like, dog, you're just making me sound like I'm 40 or something. You know what I mean? But it's cool. Obviously, I got a lot of knowledge and wisdom that I can share with those guys, even outside of football. So, I think that the biggest thing is just taking on that responsibility. Just trying to encourage those guys and push those guys towards some of the things that I was kind of able to, accomplish, in my career. So I think that's, mostly that's what that's all about, just trying to see those guys, do well.
Is there a big gap between the music that they listen to, what they like to do, that kind of stuff, like social media?
No, I don't think it's a big gap. I think I'm still hip. You know what I mean? I got a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old son, so it's like, even if like a trend comes out tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hear about it like tonight. You know what I mean? But I like to play slow music sometimes, right? And a lot of these guys, they didn't grow up on that slow jams like I did. So I gotta cater to their ear, a lot.
Yeah. You mentioned you have 2 sons, but your daughter, you are gonna spoil the crap out of her, aren't you?
She got me where she want me at. That's my baby right there. So, I'll just say that she got me exactly where she want me at. I'll probably stay there forever. So,
how old is she right now?
She's 3.
And she already has you like that.
Yeah. She's smart. She's a smart 3-year-old. She's intelligent. And so, I think me and her we got a really like unique bond. me and my sons were good, but they kind of getting older, right? They think they know everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Getting a
I got to
little
kind of let them
independent.
bump their head sometimes. But, for her, it's like, daddy this, daddy that. So, she keeps me humble and she keeps me grounded, for sure.
What's going to happen when she wants to go on her first date?
I think I might come. I see no problem with me sitting in on the first date.
So you're going to be sitting like behind them in the movie theater?
Yeah, sit with them.
Yeah.
So I might cry. I might cry. Yeah, I might cry. I gotta let her go one day, but I'm crying.
You have some time. She's only 3. We're okay. Offensive lineman Cesar Ruiz has been a staple of the Saints line, earning a contract extension before the season started. Here he is talking about what goes into his game day fits.
I felt like this is a good opportunity for me to really, because being an offensive lineman, we don't get any shine on TV. We don't get any of that, so I feel like, people don't really know about us. So I feel like this would be a good opportunity for me to really show people who I am and express myself, just like, hey, I'm stylish, I like clothes, I like to do stuff like this too. And just really be vulnerable with everybody and show everybody hey, this is also a part of me since, now we're showing people walking in and stuff like that. So I kind of use that as an opportunity to just express myself more and just let people understand who I am.
How much thought goes into it? Is that a night before plan, or is that 2-3 days before plan, or is that a get up in the morning and this how I feel plan?
Oh no, every outfit is planned out. Every outfit is planned out. I know what I'm wearing on Sunday. I know what I'm wearing next week. So it's planned out.
Who plans it out? You?
Yeah. I plan. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna coordinate this. Let me make sure I don't wear none of this jacket. Make sure I don't wear these jeans. Put it on the hanger and just put it away from everything else. That way I don't mess up the outfit. And I normally plan 2 weeks ahead. It's not a long thing I do. I'm not sitting there for hours. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna probably wear this week. Definitely gonna wear this suit this week. Stuff like that.
And you plan it down to shoes,
jewelry? Yeah. Pretty much depends. In terms of jewelry, I'm not, when it's away games and stuff, I don't want to be, I kind of want to wear suits. I want to look, my business look, and then, so I use that as more of I don't really wear my jewelry. I don't really wear anything. Then home games, I'm like, all right, it's an opportunity for me to express my fashion sense and my stuff like that. So, and in terms of just the accessories, I might just hey, I'm not gonna wear nothing, or that's a game time decision. That's a night before or a couple days before decision. It's I don't know. I might not. Depends how I feel.
Who's the best dressed on the team?
It's a few, man. I respect a lot of people's styles. I respect DeMario's. Jameis has stepped it up for real. He's made a statement this year. Alvin's the guy who I say Alvin because we have similar fashion sense, in terms of what things we're interested in and things we wear. So he's a guy that I see cause we talk about clothes all day. So Alvin's a guy. He's definitely high on my list. Cam for sure. I think those are the I think 4, right? Cam, DeMario, Alvin, 3. So those are 3 that are high up there on my list.
How could you not say you?
Oh, because I feel like it's already I don't have to.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay,
him
I got you.
Yeah. I feel like I don't really have to, and I feel like I don't really have to.
Who do you sit next to in the locker room?
At game day or here?
Here.
Oh, Jameis.
How is that?
Amazing. It's amazing because I could come in one day and not be feeling great, or I come in I got a little cold, or I'm coming in I'm a little tired. He's not tired, and he got energy, and he's always there to he's just he's overall a great teammate, and being though I get to experience it all day is amazing. He's there to uplift you at all times. He's always gonna have you smiling. And it's just great to not only have him as a teammate, but to have him as my locker mate was amazing.
Who's the funniest guy in the locker room?
Jameis. It's not close either. Jameis.
Oh, is he? Because I've heard Cam. I've heard Cam slice some people. Slice them up pretty good.
Cam Jordan?
Yeah, Cam Jordan.
Cam's funny.
Yeah,
Cam's funny, but he's not hilarious. James is hilarious.
I got you. Because James is, I got you.
Yeah,
there's a difference.
James is hilarious.
Cornerback Alontae Taylor got thrust into a new role as the starting nickel this season. It's been a process, but Taylor has continued to improve.
Because you played outside corner last year, now you're moving to the nickel this year. It obviously takes a minute to get comfortable there. And I think I asked you this maybe yesterday or the day before. What is your comfort level there now?
Actually, it's crazy. When you asked me that, I said, I'm getting there. And I kind of went home and I thought about it. And if we had to put it like on a percentage, right, from 0 to 100,
Yeah.
I would say my comfortability playing in the slot would be at like a 80-85% comfortability wise. But as far as like trusting my own technique, because I'm still learning the technique, I'm still learning leverages, I'm still learning help, I'm still learning those things, I would be more so like maybe 60%. 55-60%, because it takes reps, right? And on top of that, everything's moving fast, and so I'm still learning it. But I kind of had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and he kind of told me like it's new to me, right? And I'm still learning, but the NFL doesn't care. Other teams don't care, right? And so, and I already knew that, but it still felt good to hear that from a guy. It's like they don't care that you're still learning. They're still going to attack you and go at you, this and that. But that's what we get paid for, to go out there and compete every Sunday.
Can you give us an idea how hard that is to play the slot? Because a lot of people say, well, he plays corner, so he ought to just be able to step in there and play it. But obviously it's a different animal than playing outside. So can you give us, I guess, a gist of how difficult it is to pull it off?
Very difficult. I think if you ask any corner in the NFL what's harder, corner or nickel, I really think that they would say nickel, just because there's so much space and there's so many places that they can go. And everybody says, well, corner's got to be the hardest. But I could move back to outside corner and I'd be shut down. And the numbers that everyone talks about as far as how bad I'm doing, right, would be totally opposite, because I would be locking things down on the outside. You have the sideline right there, right? So you can be as physical as you really need to be. And then the quarterback has to kind of go through his reads and the ball has to come out quicker. In the slot, a receiver can literally get one step on you and throw them the ball, and he's probably going to get a couple yards after the catch because you're playing off and you don't know which way he's going to go. And you also like look at run pass. You have to read offensive linemen. You have to know where linebackers are fitting. You have to make sure it's a run before you trigger. You have to make sure it's a pass before you back up. There's so much that you have to see in the nickel position. There's so much you have to know as far as D-line fronts, linebackers. And on the outside, you're either going to play man, you're either going to play zone. And you can just play that. You don't have to think too much. And then your biggest opponent is yourself. And then in the slot, it's yourself, it's the receiver, it's the quarterback, it's reading all these different things. So I think that's like the hardest job that I'm having to get into. But, I mean, going into year 2, being in the NFL, kind of getting that under my belt now, and I think it's just going to help me later on in my career, though.
How much is that the preparation going into the game to be able to recognize things that you see, or just instinctual, like, okay, if this is how they are, then this might be what happens?
I think I'm still learning that side of it. I feel like I have to do better on the preparation side of things. Watching tape from last year, as far as like when I would watch opponents and things like that, I have to watch tape totally different. There's way more notes having to be taken. There's way more time having to be put into rewinding, playing. And like I said, like I have to improve there. And I think when I start to do better there, then I'll start to see the success on the field. And that confidence, I think, will grow. Last week was probably the first time that I could say that I watched a whole lot more tape than I've ever watched, and I think it showed going into the game. And I was more confident out there. My swagger was there. So I think that's what I have to improve on and continue to improve on. And just because I watched more last week, I can't say, okay, if I watched 12 hours last week, I'm going to just watch 12 this week.
Right.
This week I might have to watch 20, right? And so I just have to make sure I watch a lot of tape and just know that when I go out there, like you said, it's not just of instincts and things like that, or this is what they do. It's more of, okay, these are the possibility of things. You've seen this on tape. You've seen that on tape. All right, let's just play it this way and then react to everything else after that. But if I don't watch the tape, I can't say, okay, I've seen this. This is what this policy is coming. Now it's just I'm going to try to match every single movement that this receiver does. And on tape, if you watch tape, maybe he doesn't even do all that, right? So, yeah.
How quickly do you have to process all of that information in the moment?
Quick.
Yeah.
Like, ball snap, see it and play. And it's a lot, like I said. And I see why, you don't see many high-paid nickels in the league, right? You don't see a lot of guys in the league that are playing the nickel that's just very successful like you would see corners, because guys are still learning. I think whoever you would consider the best nickel in the league, he's still learning himself. So it's a lot, but it's a position that's being needed now that the NFL is growing to playing 11 personnel on offense, and you're playing these 4-2, 4-3 receivers who can play. And so now you have to find guys who can play that nickel job.
Defensive tackle Colin Saunders, or Bink to the players, is a man of many talents on and off the field. One of his passions outside of football is music.
It's a hobby. It's always been a hobby. It's always just been something that, I kind of do to decompress, but also just, for fun, because I love music. I love it, beyond making it. I just love listening to music. I love, hearing lyrics. I'm a big lyrics guy. I'm big into lyricism. So obviously it's crazy coming down here. My favorite rapper is actually on the wall, Lil Wayne. And that's been my favorite rapper like my whole life. I'm talking about, I think in 6th grade, I had him as my Facebook profile picture. So that shows you the fandom right there. But no, just like, I relate to lyrics really well. I relate to, people's triumphs and what they go through. And that's what kind of got me making music and stuff, is just want to be able to kind of share my own stuff, share my own triumphs and stories. And that's always been a hobby, all the way from college till now. Really, honestly, the only reason I got stuff on all platforms and like all major streaming platforms is because of my old teammates in Kansas City. I was just doing it, for fun, making music. Like, really didn't even show too many people. But one day we came in and we had some guys on the team who actually like were serious in making music, and they were playing their music. I think we had like Le'Veon Bell at the time, and then we had Bashar Breeland at the time. And they were showing, they were playing each other's music in the locker room. And, everything died down. And then I played one of my songs, and everybody was like, who is this? And I'm like, it's me. And they're like, bro, you need to, this is before I got it like professionally edited and mastered and mixed and stuff. It was just like something I made in my basement. And they were like, bro, you need to start getting this stuff professionally edited. And so I did, released my first song. That was really real. And after that, like, I played it. To my surprise, I'm talking Coach Reed, Coach Tobe, like everybody like, hey, I didn't know you made music, man. That was really nice. I'm like, bro, the coach is listening to my music, like. So that was eye opening, and that's what kind of made me I wouldn't say take it seriously, but just start actually trying to make music, like make content more than just a song every so often. So I put out an album and stuff, and but yeah, it's it was like I said, man, it's all for fun. I'm in the NFL, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to make it out off music, you know what I mean? So luckily, I can keep it free and flowing instead of like forcing it, trying to make it out, you know what I mean? I can just, when I feel like it, I do it. And it's been fun, man. It's a great way of expression for me, going through some things and going through anything, man. It's a good way to kind of just let it all out.
You're a Lil Wayne fan. You gonna freestyle for us? Did you see him freestyling with the Fugees?
I didn't see it, but I saw. I'm gonna look that up on Twitter after this.
Gotta see that,
man. The greatest, dog. The GOAT. Like it's just mind blowing. Like how are you a Packers fan, bro? Like like it just doesn't. I don't get it. I ain't trying to disrespect. I'm trying to disrespect the GOAT, but like, bro, like. Come on now. You know what I mean? We're going to get them back, though. Don't worry about it. My first order of business as a New Orleans man is to get Lil Wayne's fandom back to New Orleans.
There you go. You said that you really like the lyrics. What are some of the subjects that you've sung about?
Man, a lot. I think that everybody got different experiences and stuff. And everybody goes through different stuff, man. I make music about just whatever I'm going through at the time. Obviously it's a lot of differences, going to the NFL or becoming any type of personality or quote unquote famous to your peers. And I make music about that too, like, I don't know, y'all haven't known me for that long, but I am a very just relaxed, down to earth type of dude. I don't think, money makes anybody better than anybody else. I still, when I go to St. Louis, back to my, home, I do the same stuff. I go to the same places, and I'm not looking for oh, I'm in NFL, you should give me this for free. Like, that's just not me. You know what I'm saying? I've always been that way. And so it's kind of a culture shock, making it to the NFL. And then I think Jay-Z said it when he was like, people think you work that hard to stay the same. And that's the truth though, like kind of people changing around you, and it kind of like reveals different stuff to you. And that's kind of, that's one of the topics I make music on. But I make music on a lot of stuff, just depending on how I'm feeling, like if I'm feeling festive and more bouncy mood, make some bouncier music. If I'm feeling more, in a more saddened state, I got my ride wave, my ride wave days where I'm just like, got to let out some stuff. So, but no, man, music helps me a lot. Like I, just going through anything, and obviously not trying to dampen anybody else's day, because that's one thing about me. I come in and I make people laugh and stuff like that. And some days it's harder to do that than others. With going through things, whatever you're going through personally. So I think that that's where the lyricism comes in. Guys can, like, I listen to Ride Wave sometimes, and I'm like, man, this dude, going through some of the stuff you go through, and it just makes it fun, man. It makes it relatable when you get to meet those guys. It's like, wow, man, you're a real pioneer for this, and I appreciate you.
Wide receiver Chris Olave is settling in year 2 with the Saints. He currently leads the team with 657 receiving yards on the season and has 3 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, I love it out here, man. It's a great culture. It's like Ohio State, just a winning culture, a winning tradition, a lot of competition, which I love. So I'm excited to be here and to be here for a long time.
Well, yeah, it's like Ohio State. There's like 59 Ohio State guys on the roster. Is that kind of, a comforting thing? You see, Mike and Pete, and, this team has a relationship with Ohio State.
Yeah, it's exciting, man, especially when I came in last year. You look across, you got Pete over there, Marshawn. We had Roby. Look on the beside me, you got Mike. Just to have that mindset. Everybody got the same mindset, which is to win and to compete. So I feel like it's huge for us to have, and makes us going out there to compete even easier.
You came up with Rashid Shaheed, obviously has a very different story than you do, being an undrafted free agent. But it's been nice to have somebody go through a rookie season with you in your same position.
Oh yeah, it was huge. I knew he was real good from the beginning, but when he got out there from his ACL and started running routes, I knew he was kind of different. So I know he's a different player. He's a rare player, like I say. There's not many players like him in the NFL. So I'm excited to see where he goes. I know he's so dangerous when he get the ball in his hands. So I'm excited to watch him in the future.
What have you liked about your position coach and Cody Burns?
He's a challenger. Even when we have a good game, he wants us to be a perfectionist, and he has the highest standard for us. And I feel like that's what we have for ourselves. So we all similar with a similar mindset, and he raises the bar high in that room. So I'm excited to have him as a coach.
Cornerback Isaac Yiadom has filled in seamlessly when called upon. He's played in 8 games this season, started 1, and boasts 7 passes defensed and an interception. He has a unique story as the son of Ghanaian immigrants.
My dad came over first, brought over my mom. My mom, she didn't read or write English, so it was really hard for her. English wasn't my first language. I speak Tree. That was my first language, so I learned how to speak English through TV, through school. Like, we taught my mom how to speak English, so it was for sure different, but it was a great opportunity, you know what I mean, to see things in a different, I have a different heritage. Going back to Ghana 3 years ago, I got to see where my family's from. I don't get to speak my language much because I don't really have nobody to speak it with now. But, like, even when I went back, I was talking to my grandma in the language and all that stuff. So it's great to be a part of something different.
Which TV shows did you use to help teach you?
Like when I can't even remember anything. Dora, SpongeBob, anything.
Really?
Just anything. When you were a kid, you just watch TV and you just say the stuff they saying, and you just go to school. That's just how you learn, honestly.
Yeah, Barney.
Yeah, and Barney. And a lot of like my Hispanic friends growing up that have the same kind of story. They only spoke Spanish, and their parents only understood Spanish. They always say the same thing too, is that TV is how they learn how to speak English.
How difficult is that to fit in a world where it's really not your first language.
Right. People say that English is the hardest one to learn or something like that. People say that, but I feel like when you're young as a kid, it's super easy. You can learn 3-4 languages as a kid.
Yeah.
So
you're sponges then.
Yeah. It wasn't hard for me at all. It was just something that was just second nature. I was speaking English and Tree and mixing both of them together at the same time.
Sometimes I guess the playbook kind of looks like.
Right. Yeah. So right.
Especially here.
What's it been like for you? Because now here you are, playing corner for the Saints, and I think the team's got 5 interceptions. You're personally responsible for 2 of them. One you got, I say in the end zone, the refs say at the 1, and the other one where you make the deflection and Marcus May comes up with it. What's it been like for you being thrust in pretty much when Paulson Adebo was out and getting a chance to be a playmaker?
Right. I think through OTAs and in camp, I gained the trust of my teammates, so they know that if something ever happens and my name is called, I'm be ready. Of course, I'm blessed to be this is my 6th year in the NFL, so I know how to prepare like a pro. I know how to study like a pro. I know how to be ready like a pro now. It's not like I'm a rookie, so I've had a lot of football experience, so it's nothing new to me. And I just think when it comes to getting the ball, something that we emphasized all offseason, all camp, like creating turnovers, getting the ball, getting our hands on the ball, creating takeaways. So it's just something that we trying to do, and if we can get 2 a game, that's great. If we can get 1 a game, there's always so much left out on the table. You know what I mean? Like, we can't drop balls. If you count every single ball that you could have caught, you'll lead the league in interceptions every single year. So it's just something that we've been trying to emphasize.
All right, 6 years in the NFL, and this, I believe, is your first NFL game in Gillette.
Right. Yup. Yeah. Never played in Gillette. Never
Great
played against
research
Patriots.
by J Mac. But you had a high school game there.
I did. Yup.
What do you remember about that game?
Man, we won a state championship there. Yup. In December of, I think, 13, and me and my buddies, when we go home, we still talk about it. We still got our rings from that, and like, I came from an inner city school. I think we never won a state championship in any sport, and we have about 6 high schools, I think, in our inner city. So it was like a huge accomplishment then, and like it's still a huge accomplishment for me now. And I think my jersey still, because they take the jerseys from each game and they put it in the Patriots Hall of Fame, I think, for all the high school jerseys. So I think that still might be there. But that was a unbelievable moment, walking away with the win. And every time I played there in high school or in college, I only won in Gillette. So I'm looking forward to going there Sunday and doing the same thing.
I was about to say we need to keep that going. So from the euphoria of that night, winning the state championship and all those accolades and playing at Boston College, did you see an NFL future?
When I was in high school, I wasn't really looking that far. I was just so hyped and amazed that I made it to the D1 level. So it was all BC. But towards the end of my career at Boston College, and when I got a chance to play at Gillette, it was always a dream of mine. And playing at Gillette was like, okay, I want to do this one day. I want to be here one day. So I'm super blessed and super excited to go back and be able to do that.
Thanks for listening to some of the highlights from our first 10 weeks of play. I am sure there is a lot more to come. Enjoy this weekend, and we'll be back in full force for Week 12 as the Saints head to Atlanta for their first divisional matchup against the Falcons.
Thanks for listening to the New Orleans Saints podcast. Join us 3 times per week on NewOrleansSaints.com, the Saints mobile app, or you can download the podcast on iTunes. We'll see you next time, right here on the New Orleans Saints podcast.